Hola, everybody. It's Kaipacha with the weekly Paleo Report, and I am in Kanyakumari at the southernmost tip of India, where you can see both the sunrise and the sunset. I don't know if you've been there, but it is absolutely amazing on a full moon. Actually, I'm just kidding. I was there a few years ago, but I just saved this video for you today. It's actually November 27th of 2024, and I'm going to stop saying the great year. But uh, yeah, let's look at the astrology that's going on right now, and it's powerful. I mean, last week I talked about the dark night of the soul, right? Well, the moon is still in Scorpio for a couple of more days, okay? Goes into Sagittarius on Saturday. So, um, we will be emerging. That phoenix will be rising, but it may just take a couple more days. In the meantime, I mean, there is some good things going on. The sun is trine Mars today. Yes, and it was last conjunct in November of 23 was the last time that the sun was conjunct Mars. Very amazing, right? They've both been kind of really moving along, and that was in the very late degrees of Scorpio, early degrees of Sagittarius. And here we have the sun moving through Sagittarius. It was a year ago. Think of back about a year ago, but even more so than that, we also have um, a couple more trines, very powerful trines going on. Mercury trine Uranus, Capricorn to Taurus. I'm going to talk about that a little bit today. That is exact on Monday, but it's going on all week. And Mercury trine Chiron. That is exact on Sunday, but again, it's going on for quite some time because Mercury is retrograde. And just like Mercury opposite Jupiter, it's still opposite Jupiter right now with a 3, 4 degree orb, and it's going to continue on for a long period. What's interesting about both of these trines is they're 240-degree trines, and um, they both were conjunct. Venus was conjunct Uranus, and Mercury was conjunct Chiron back in May 7th and May 18th. So if you sowed seeds, if you began something back in May, all right, now it comes into the 240-degree trine. I want to be talking about that a little bit also. And then again, of course, the new moon is on Saturday. I'll read the Sabian symbol for that. That is at 9 degrees, 33 minutes of Sagittarius. So after that moon moves through, it has that new moon, moves into Capricorn on Monday, and we are off to a new moon cycle. Yeah. So let me look at the camera and talk to you about that. Okay. All right, everybody. Good to see you. Did I fool you at the beginning? Did you think I was in India? Just wondering. I do have Lakshmi. I've got Lakshmi with me today. And of course, I'm going to explain that a little bit coming up. But so much to talk about. Oh my goodness. First of all, I want you to know I read the comments, and I was just blown away at the number of people that have been watching the Paleo Report for so long. It just makes me feel like we are a community and you guys are my friends, and it's not such a public thing. It's just like I'm talking to my friends at some dinner gathering or something. So that's very cool. Yeah. And thank you. It's very humbling. I mean, I was really moved by some of what you folks shared. So thank you very much. That was some very beautiful comments there. Um, Today, I would like to talk about so many things, but first, I want to tell you a story. I want to read to you a little bit and share with you about many different things. But the first of them, I think I want to start out with And because, and this, of course, all ties into the mantra. The mantra ties everything together. So I may feel like I'm spaced out talking about this, that, or the other thing, but I'm telling you, new moon in Sagittarius, it got me thinking, hello, Sagittarius rules the thighs, Capricorn rules the knees, Aquarius rules the ankles, and Pisces rules the feet. The sun moving through these signs and then having new moons through these signs, it's like we're dealing with our legs for the next 4 months. Right? And so I'm going to the complete encyclopedia or dictionary now of ailments and diseases by Jacques Martel. I mean, he's my favorite. I'm going to read to you a little bit about what he says about legs. Legs. I find this very interesting. I don't know if you're having anything going on with your legs, but let's check it out. The legs symbolize my movements and my autonomy. My legs move me forward or backward and give me my own direction, stability, solidity, and a firm base. They therefore represent my power and my capacity for moving forward in life while leaving the past behind me. My legs enable me to go or not go, to meet people, to get closer to them or farther from them. My legs are also related to the Mother Earth, my grounding. So, this I think is very cool, very interesting. Let's keep going. My legs express my relation with the act of moving forward. Are we moving forward with our lives? Huh? Are you? They also reflect the orientation I take in my life, my orientation to work, family, sexual orientation, and the directions to take to get there. They also represent the field of my relations with my entourage. An ailment in my legs may indicate that I am too rooted in my everyday routine, my comfort zone. Weak legs indicate that little energy is circulating in them, which denotes a lack of self-assurance in me, an inability to remain standing and be strong before a certain situation or a certain person. I seek support and motivation in others instead of finding them within me. Anybody have weak legs out there? How about that one? Here are leg ailments. This is a good one. When I am having difficulty with my legs, I must stop and ask myself the question, what is the current or upcoming situation that is making me afraid of the future? I resist change. I feel paralyzed and limited. And I may be so scared that I feel like taking to my heels. But is that really the solution? With whom am I having relational difficulties that are a source of tension and conflict? Difficulties with my legs can reveal my feeling of not being supported by others, and maybe especially by my mother. I am collapsing under my responsibilities. I will therefore find it difficult to stand on my legs. I mean, it goes on. It goes on, but and then he ends with an affirmation. I mean, I just love this guy. I think he's really great. I should show you the cover of the book. Uh-oh, is the fire going out? Fuck. Whatever new situation comes up, I accept to learn how to channel my inner security. I can trust myself and overcome my resistance to change. So this is what, Jacques Martel says, I'm going to go to the cover and show you the cover in case you're interested in getting this. Can you see that? I'm coming up as close as I can. Now, I think he changed the title to The Complete Encyclopedia of Ailments and Diseases. I hope this is not reading backwards and you can read it. Anyway. Sagittarius, long distance journeys, travels, airports, airplanes, higher education, philosophy, religion, the meaning of life, natural law. Look at all these keywords that are tied in with this Sagittarius. So the sun coming into Sag, Mercury retrograding in Sag, the moon coming into Sag. We really want to be looking at what Sagittarius is. The bullseye, the archer, shooting the arrow towards the bullseye. Where are you going? Where do I want to go? What do I believe? And do I believe in the future? Do I believe in myself? Do I have faith? Faith is ruled by Sagittarius. So this is really, a time of, and what else is it? It's the right brain, intuition. Do I trust my intuition? To have my legs, it rules the thighs, to have my legs carry me in the direction, the orientation that I want to go. This is a very philosophical time period. And with Mercury retrograde here, we're really, it's time to really contemplate very deeply and individualize. Mercury retrograde is about, I'm going to think my own thoughts. I'm going to make my own decisions. It's not about other people's beliefs, religions, philosophies. I have to trust my own intuition. Powerful. And that can be very, very healing. Mercury trine Chiron. Healing to my deepest will force. Chiron is in Aries, fire. Sagittarius is fire. So we are talking about this fiery dynamic energy. And now with the sun trine Mars today also, this is just like breaking through. So we were in the underworld last week and the phoenix rises and it is time. It's time to go out, to go up, to go forward. This is... Yeah, and I know Mercury retrograde, a lot of astrologers and people go, don't travel and don't sign contracts and don't this, that, and the other thing. I've done a fair share of traveling and I've had just as many problems traveling with Mercury retrograde as I have had with Mercury going direct. Just to, put my own 2 cents in about the astrological things. The main thing with Mercury retrograde, like I said, is to rebel, revolutionize, step back, reflect, and come into your own self. And that is scary. If we don't trust ourselves, we have not been taught to trust ourselves. The school systems and religions and the government, everybody, they don't want you to trust yourself. They want you to do what you're told. External authority, is out there big time, trying to dominate and control the mass population. So you to pull out of that matrix, to pull out of that whole scenario and to think for yourself. It can be kind of like, what do I do? What do I do? Well, we have to, really come into our inner security. Yeah. And that inner security is our truth. It's our faith. So when the sun comes through Sagittarius, the sun is our source. It is self. So this is a time to just believe in yourself and trust your guidance, trust your intuition, really move forward. This is a time of great opportunity. I have to read to you the Sabian symbol for the 10th degree of Sagittarius, a theatrical representation of a golden-haired goddess of opportunity. And this is the thing, and this is what I have Lakshmi up here for, right? Okay, I mean, really, because Dane and his thing, society's efforts at dramatizing the greatness of what it offers to the ambitious person. I hate to disagree with Dane Rudhyar, the father of humanistic astrology and one of my great, great teachers. However, his interpretation of this symbol, Elsie Wheeler was the psychic that received, this image and this symbol. And this, I'm going to stick with Lakshmi as, a golden-haired goddess of opportunity. Maybe she has a different color hair. But a goddess of opportunity. Lakshmi is the goddess of love, of abundance, of joy, of beauty. She is celebrated at Diwali, the festival of light in India, which occurs in November, late November. So, I mean, we are right in time. It's interesting how in the Northern Hemisphere, the days are getting longer. I mean, the nights are getting longer. The days are getting shorter. It's getting darker and darker and darker. And here we have, boom, a festival of light. Yes. And so Lakshmi, the goddess of opportunity, the Sabian symbol, for this lunar cycle, for this next month. This is very beautiful, along with these trines. Now let's look at these trines a little bit and here we get into that these are 240 degree trines, okay? And those are different than the 120 degree trines. A trine is the circle divided by 360 degrees in a circle gives you 120 degrees. And so what we have is a situation where Venus is conjunct with Uranus last May. And she comes around and it's a separating trine. Okay, that 120 degree trine probably happened around September. But now she's come around to a 240 degree trine. So this is very different. She's gone past the opposition. She has gone past this inner development and self-expression into relationship and partnership. And the 240 degree trine is happening. It's actually associated with 0 degrees of Sagittarius. That is harmonious return. Okay, this is where we are accepted, we are given, we are supported, other people acknowledge us. This is a harmonious exchange. And what is Venus-Uranus? Venus-Uranus is genius, right? Uranus is revolution, experimentation, the great scientist, with love, with partnership, with money. This is a very good time for gambling. This is a very good time for taking a chance. This is a very good time for Venus trine Uranus says sudden, unexpected good fortune around love and money and relationship. I mean, and what you want to do is act during these times, and you want to seize these opportunities when they come. This doesn't happen all the time. And that's happening, I think, on Saturday. On Sunday, then we've got Mercury trine Chiron. Again, a 240 degree trine. This is receiving positive communication or new information, possibly from university or some teacher or some guru or some wisdom holder, wisdom keeper, Sagittarius, right? That is going to help heal the wounded warrior within us so that we can have that confidence in ourselves to move forward in the face of danger. Yes, we want to trust the future and let go of the past.
but it's not easy. And the other thing that I want to consider here, and I said I would tell you a little story. I'm watching the time, I don't want to go too long, but it's about the great king, because Jupiter is the king of Mount Olympus, and Jupiter is the ruler of Sagittarius. And so there is this, there is a monk, a disciple, who has been studying in the monastery, yes, to become a Rinpoche. And he is studying, learning, and he is humble, and he sits at the foot of his teacher. And after many, many years of learning, of living a humble, simple life, he is ready. And his teacher says, you have reached a stage in your growth, in your evolution, in your learnings and in the teachings that you are now worthy. You graduate. You are a master. Rise up. And one last thing that you need to do is you need to go and visit this king. Now, this happened to be, of course, it was over in India, and it was during the festival of Diwali, the festival of light, right? And he says, you must do everything that the king says, and he has much to teach you. And so the monk sets off, and he travels by foot, and and his sandals wear out, and he's weary, and it's a long journey, and he goes, and then comes up to this great castle with huge doors. He knocks as loud as he can on this solid wooden door. And guards open the door. And of course, it had been set for him to meet the king. The king knew he was coming. And he simply spoke his name, and I am the monk that is here to visit the king, he said with all humility. And so the guards brought him in, and they opened the doors to the great hall of the king. And the king, in all of his splendor and his glory, was there at the end of long 2 tables full of people. And there's loud music playing, and there's waiters and waitresses pouring goblets of wine, and I mean, it's a feast. They're having this great feast. And they usher the monk around, and there's an empty seat next to the king. And the king gestures for the monk to sit down. And as soon as the monk sits down, he orders, all of the fruits and all of the drinks and all of the meat. And now, and here's this monk, after years and years of his vegetarian diet and his fasting and his, his eating of bread and rice and everything, he is definitely in a state of, but do not refuse the king. When Jupiter visits, when the king visits you, you honor, you respect, you follow the wisdom of the king. And so the king said, eat. And so the monk ate. The king said, drink. And the monk drank. And the beautiful women came and danced before him. And the jester came and basically entertained. Yes, and it was a tremendous tremendous, long feasting into the night that the monk had never, ever seen or experienced before in his entire life. He could not fathom why or what this was about, what he was to learn, what the king had to tell him. The king was just like jolly Saint Nicholas. I mean, he was just a powerful, joyous king. And then it came time to where the monk was exhausted. And the king excused him. And he brought his servant in and said, "Take him to his room." And so the servant walks. They go through this huge castle, through the stone steps, up and down and over and then over. I mean, it's a huge castle. This was a very powerful king. And he brings him finally to this room, and he opens the door, and it's a huge, bedecked with gold and hangings and paintings and linens, and a beautiful room with this big bed, a bigger bed than the monk had ever seen. A California king. Size bed, and it's got the drapes around it, right? And the servant says, if there's anything you need, call. And so shuts the door, and the monk is alone. And he is exhausted from his journey and all of the feasting. His mind and his head are, a little delirious. So he, disrobes and he crawls under the bed, and he looks up, and what does he see? Hanging by the thinnest thread, almost so thin it was imperceptible, like you could not even see the thread, was a sword, right down, hanging over the middle of the bed, right where he was to sleep. He looked at this sword in terror. It could drop, it could fall any second. It could be his death. He was very, very frightened. And he did not sleep very well at all. Being more exhausted, the next morning, he comes out of his room rather shaken, and he asks the servant, to find the king. And they go down, and the servant takes him to the king. And the king, how did you sleep? And the monk said, I could not sleep at all. There was a sword hanging over me all through the night. And the king slapped him on the back and said, "Oh, that? Yes. Come with me." And the king walked up through the stairs, through the stone chambers and the walls and through the whole castle to the king's quarters. And as they opened the doors up wide, the monk looked in astonishment For over the king's bed hung 100 swords by tiny little threads. And the king spoke. You may have it all, and you may die and lose it all at any moment. Be ready. That is a powerful story I remembered as well as I could. I was told it a long time ago, but it says a lot. It says a lot about courage. It says a lot about faith. It says a lot about trusting life and being able to engage, being able to gamble, take advantage of, relate, dive in, go forward, walk with our legs into the future with our heads held high, knowing that at any moment it could all come crashing down. It could all be over. We could end. So it's living every day to its maximum. It's the be here now. It's the be in this moment. It is taking a full advantage of all that life has to offer us every moment of every day. So I want to read to you our mantra for today. If my life is not expanding, I need to question why. What do I fear or need to do so I can spread my wings and fly? Now let me say this. As long as I'm talking like a king and preaching, we have Jupiter square Saturn, right? I think Jupiter is at 12, Jupiter's at 17, Saturn's at 12, 5-degree orb. And I said this Jupiter square Saturn, I'm gonna be talking about the astrology of 2025. I'm going to go deeply into this January 4th and 5th. It's going to be kind of a weekend seminar. Mark your calendars. Okay, but this Jupiter square Saturn is going on, right on through very much of 2025. Okay, it was exact, you remember, a few weeks ago. So, this is, what do I fear or need to do? The key words for Saturn Jupiter is limited expansion, limited or hindered expansion. So this is a situation where, planet Earth is going through, okay, it's kind of a, Saturn is, no, you don't get to fly or expand until you, right? Saturn is the law and the order. It's society at large, and it is banks, institutions, governments, educational systems. If you want to practice psychology, you have to get a degree in psychology. If you want to practice surgery, you have to get a PhD, you have to become a doctor of medicine. If you want to do so many different things in the world, okay, Saturn says there is society, there are societal laws, rules, and expectations. So it's not only our fear that holds us back, but sometimes it's self-discipline and it's maturity and it's commitment that no, I need to go to school or I need to learn this before I can teach it. I need to, learn how to pound nails before I can build a house. There is time. There are phases of the moon. There are seasons of the year. Everything occurs according to the natural unfoldment. And am I with that? Am I in time? Maybe I'm a late bloomer. Maybe I've been holding back. I'm lazy and I have not gotten my, this, that, or the thing. I haven't disciplined myself. I haven't done my Saturn work. Then we have a limited Jupiter return. Right? Then we have a limited Sagittarian. Then the good king is not such a good, strong, powerful king. We have a weak king with weak legs. Right? Skinny thighs. So, yeah, we have a couple of things to overcome. It's not just a matter of, oh, yeah, no, I'm not afraid. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you can walk off a cliff and you can, whatever. There's lots of ways to, die prematurely. And just be, if you don't know how to discriminate and you don't know how to discern, right? You can, make very big blunders. So this is a time of also, yes, what do I need to do? What do I need to do if I want to go here or do that or buy that or have that or love this person or da da da? Well, there is a price to pay for everything, right? Scorpio says relationships are based on cost and reward. There's a cost and there's a reward, and these want to be, right? Equalized. So what do you have to do, right? In order to, meet society, meet another person, meet your family, meet your obligations. This is all Sagittarius. This is all legwork. This is all we have to move forward. We want to move into communion. We want to move into connection. Well, the way to do that is responsibly. This is what's really being called for. And the thing is that there can be a very beautiful, positive outcome. So I'm going to say, this week, we want to christen this week, the week of trines. Sun trine Mars, Venus trine Uranus, Mercury trine Chiron. Come on, baby. Trust in yourself, trust in life, do the work, and you're gonna fly. You're gonna fly. The Marx, not the Marx brothers, the Wright brothers, they flew. Not the first time. They crashed a number of planes before they actually mastered flying, right? So don't be afraid to crash. Stand up, and if you do crash, stand up, build another airplane, and frickin' fly again, baby. Yeah. Practice makes perfect. If my life is not expanding, Jupiter, the principle of expansion, if my life is not expanding, I need to question why. What do I fear or need to do so I can spread my wings and fly? May you fly away. Namaste. Aloha. So much love.